We're here with Senator Luz Escamilla, who is my good friend and just an unbelievable person, and unfortunately has been diagnosed with COVID-19. How are you holding up, my friend?
Well, first, hi, Clint, and hi to the Silicon Slopes community, and just feeling blessed to be able to be here with you today, right? You dealing with this unexpectedly and scary situation, but at the same time, I'm feeling better. It's been quite the journey for my family. More than one member of my family, my husband, also tested positive, so we're trying to deal with this one day at a time. And I certainly feel better than when I got tested, which was last Friday at the hospital. Both my husband and I were at the hospital with some medical issues we were facing, and at that point, the test was what they decided to do, and within 48 hours, we were informed on Sunday night that it was positive, which is when I decided to release that information. As you know, we were coming from a legislative session where thousands of people gathered together at the Capitol, and I felt it was important to let people know of that situation.
Well, I know you have some pre-existing conditions as well here, Luz, that make this even more complicated and scary. How are you? Just like I know you have this, but how are you and your family holding up?
You know, it's really the uncertainty is what makes it hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's been really scary. So we have a multi-generational family. My mom lives with us and she's 66 years old. So obviously puts her in a high risk, group of individuals. I have asthma, as you mentioned, as a condition that I have, and that's what got the complication piece. I started feeling symptoms on Monday right after the session. So Monday the 16th, I believe, and 17th. I mean Monday the 17th, but I didn't have very high fevers. There were symptoms. It's a different thing from a regular flu. I mean, it puts you in bed. It hurts so much, and I was just struggling breathing, which is what took us to the hospital on Friday. So it was a long couple of days before I was able to get tested. But for us right now, my husband came 2 days later with the same symptoms. So there was this almost snowfall, the snowball effect. But we're here with our teenagers, our toddlers, and that certainly concerns me a lot, and trying to make sure all of them stay healthy under the circumstances is very difficult, and it's been hard, but we're a family of faith, and we believe we will overcome this as a family, but also as a community.
How are they holding up? Have any of your children started showing any symptoms?
Yesterday, one of our little ones, and we've been in communication via telehealth with her pediatrician, and she's 5 years old. So that was very scary. That happened yesterday. So we've been watching her, and just checking her temperature, but more of a cold flu type of situation for her. But yeah, I mean, it is scary. That's what keeps me, I think, aside from some of being uncomfortable, the just being concerned about my family, it certainly hits home very close for us right now. Is here at our home.
And you mentioned you just had the legislative session. It's not clear when you were symptomatic, right? I mean, that's hard to judge and until you
Correct.
start feeling all of these various things. What have health officials said to you about people you may have come in contact with at the session, your fellow colleagues? Are they tracking all of that stuff down? Have you had to notify people that you were in contact with there?
Yes. So for me, it was Friday night, emergency room, being treated for the problems I was having for breathing. By that time, was a breathing asthma issue, which obviously now has obviously direct correlation to the COVID-19. I get tested Sunday night. I get my results, and the emergency doctor that treated us, personally called us on Sunday night, which I'm very grateful for him. And at that point, we immediately notified the legislature, and that started a whole process within the legislature, because, of course, I was with them my system, I started feeling more of the symptoms on Monday evening. So there was within a period of 4 days from the legislature. So they started a whole protocol. And then Salt Lake County Local Health Department contacted me Monday morning, which started now any individual that we've had interactions with that week, of when I started getting the symptoms. I interacted with people on Monday morning before the symptoms started for me, and those obviously were notified. I personally notified them, but also I know the local health department also connected with them personally.
So far, are you the only member of the state legislature that's confirmed to have this?
I so far that's my understanding. I've been, many of them have reached to me personally, and it's been a outpour of support and love. Clint, people are amazing, and from my understanding, is so far yes. But keep in mind, from Sunday, many of them got their test maybe on Monday or Tuesday, so results may be coming barely as of today or tomorrow because it is taking 48 hours. We're still waiting for my mom's results to come back, and it should be today or tomorrow. I mean, so I don't know at this point if there's more of my colleagues, but as you know, it's thousands of people in a very small, in a place where it's just all locked in. So I'm not sure. I'm trying to think in my head. I mean, I think one of the things you do through this process is where have I been? What have I touched? What surfaces I've been around, and I can't. I was for 45 days at the Capitol, 14 hours a day. I mean, that's all I did, and then I got sick. So for me, that's where it was coming from. And my husband came with the symptoms 2 days later. So I mean, it's been very specific in terms of the timeline.
And you don't have any sense of how you got it.
No, nothing. That's
Yeah.
what I've been saying. I mean, not at all. And I wasn't sick at all. I mean, I had a good session. Usually people get sick during the session. I mean, you get like a cold.
Yeah.
I had a session where I had no problem. And I actually was kind of like calling victory to not having a session with a cold or a flu. And here I am, right? Which I think it just speaks volumes of how important it is for people to realize that this is real. It is happening. It can, my husband and I were 41 years. I mean, based on our age, we were able, I think, to fight this and have a better chance. But we're seeing more people at a younger age with very serious medical conditions now because of this COVID-19. We now have the first under 18 that unfortunately passed away. So I sitting home for us because I still worry for my children, and we're doing everything we can in terms of precautions. But it's very real and it's scary.
Well, there's the whole personal side of this, which you just touched on, and I can't even imagine what you're going through, my friend. I mean, this is rough stuff, and it's very real. And to have you come on here and tell such a wide audience about what you're going through, I can't thank you enough for doing that. So there's the personal side, and there's also you're a state senator here in Utah, and I'd love to get a sense from you on whether you think the state's doing the right thing so far. There's a lot of discussion, it seems, over the past 24, 48 hours on whether or not the governor and lieutenant governor should call on doing a complete lockdown like other states have done. What is your perspective on all that?
I've been engaged as much as I can in and out of feeling
Sure.
days like that, but I've been very engaged in those conversations. My take is we should go into a lockdown. I don't think we should risk people's lives, and there is when it's not at home, maybe people have a harder time understanding that this is happening. It's you just see numbers on TV and there may be a disconnect. I think the state needs to move and be more strong when it comes to the lockdown. Shelter in place is where we need to be. So that's my personal opinion as a legislator. I feel responsible for communities where there may be less access to care or where they may have more. So I live on the west side of Salt Lake City, northwest quadrant here in Rose Park, and we have the worst air quality in this area. So you have more people that have problems like mine of asthma, and I worry about those individuals that if it happens to be where they become positive COVID-19, their problems are going to escalate. So I worry about my district and my constituents, and I believe a shelter in place and full lockdown is the safest thing to do. Now, at the same time, part of what we were working, and when I say we, is our Senate Democrats been working on addressing issues of essential workers and how do we provide that network of support for them so they can continue providing the services that makes us run, be able to do this and be able to have food. um, Healthcare providers need to make sure they're safe. So we, from that sense, I think, we obviously happy to hear that Congress finally got, the stimulus package passed. And I mean, it was scary to think that they were still arguing when there's such a crisis. But I don't believe the federal government is going to save us. I think it's going to be up to the states, and we need to be more proactive. And I hope, and I'm from what I understand is there's shifting, right? And part of it I think was what happened on Sunday, right? I mean, even when
Right.
people, I mean, when we were telling them, and there was all this proactive approach on education and outreach about the importance of this, you were still seeing people making very poor choices that were putting people at risk. So I think at that point is when you realize you have to move and be a little bit way more stronger.
So Luz, just to be, and is it okay if I call you Luz, Senator?
Yes,
I thought
please.
it was. I thought it was, but I don't know. We're in a formal. I don't know what you call this thing. It feels pretty
No.
formal. Luz, just to be clear, are you calling on Governor Herbert and Lieutenant Governor Cox to go to a shelter in place?
Yes, that will be. I mean, I share that in different settings in terms of communications, and to me, the time is right to do that. I think we want to be ahead of the curve, and by I mean the curve, I mean the real curve. Because when you look at states like New York and others, Georgia, where they're already hitting their bed, I mean the maximum of beds, that is, I can't even imagine how scary that is. And as I'm in transition from when I started week one into this, or whatever number of days I've been into this, it's blurry by this time. I'm I knew I needed to go to a hospital, and I did, and I was treated, and I got help. I can't imagine if you go to a hospital and there's no one to help you because we're at capacity. So based on my personal experience and from a policy perspective, I think a shelter in place is the right approach. And yeah, I mean, I will, definitely as a state senator will say to me that's the best approach.
I want to ask you too, because you ran for mayor of Salt Lake City. It came down to you and Aaron Mendenhall, and you ran a wonderful campaign, and I was so proud of the campaign that you ran. And I love both you and Aaron. And Aaron, won that campaign. She's now Salt Lake City's mayor. How do you think she's handling this?
I think both Mayor Mendenhall as my mayor, and West Valley City that's part of my Senate district. I'm very proud of both of those cities being proactive. They, as an elected official, I continue to get information on a regular basis from them, and also our county mayor, Mayor Wilson. So I all the two of them women in terms of Erin and Jenny, and I'm really proud of their work. They've been kind, and they've also sent messages of support for my during this time. And West Valley the same. I'm telling you, I think local governments are doing their best. We also faced an earthquake, which on Wednesday that just was the worst timing. But so far, I think the city and the county are doing a good job in being proactive. And I thinking that yeah, I mean, she just started her tenure as a mayor, and she's facing all the situations. I think she's doing a great job, and her and the council, I wish them the best. These are difficult times, and but we also need to be more proactive. I think the state legislature is activating as well. We just finished session. We're going to come back for a special session. We're going to have to deal with our budget. This is not what we plan, and this is going to obviously affect the economy of the state. And the economy is critical, but the lives of Utahns are more important. And I'm hoping to see more aggressive actions taken both at the state and local level.
Well, I absolutely agree. I think Mayor Mendenhall and Mayor Wilson and all these local, and Mayor Kafusi down in Provo, and so many local officials have really just, shined during this period. So I love to hear you echo that because I think it's been quite incredible. On the state side, and given your position as a state senator, and you just mentioned this, but would you call for a special session now?
Not yet. I think, I know there's, the governor's barely signing the bills. And I think he actually signed the very first bill, was one of the bills. I was a Senate sponsor. So it was not a big policy bill, but it was a MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. License plate bill, one of them, once in his first docket of bills that he signed. So I mean, there's still that process. We're still functioning with our budget from last year. It's the timing for us is July 1st when we activate the new fiscal year. But definitely, we're going to have to come back because there's going to be in terms of our income tax and sales tax. I mean, it's going to be affected. So it's going to happen. I'm guessing within a month. I think you're going to start seeing that special session, unless something else has to activate. I know the governor has taken a lot of executive orders, good ones. The one that I was just happy, and I was actually on social media pushing for this, was the one on the non-essential surgeries and procedures. That should not be happening right now. Let's get all of our equipment. Let's have our places and our hospitals ready to take, to take people that are going to be facing this COVID-19 medical issues. So I'm happy the governor is doing. The governor is, and their task force, they're doing a good job, and it's hard. I'm hearing from the public, the community, because of my story. A lot of people are frustrated about the testing, but it has
Right.
improved in the last week. I mean, it's almost moving per day. And, like I said, for me, it was probably being with, right in that hospital when they did the test, but I know things are improving and more things are going to still change because we're learning one day at a time.
We hear a lot about this rainy day fund that the state has. Would you recommend that the state dip into that rainy day fund?
Yes, the rainy day fund is for a situation like this. I mean, it is for a recession. It's for, we use a lot of our rainy day fund during the recession. I've been in the legislature for 12 years, and we've been through a recession, right? The 2009 to 2013. We're still even recovering from that, and here we are facing this now. But yeah, there is the purpose for that rainy day fund is exactly to do this, to help us when we're in this situation. I have to say I'm proud of the state of Utah. We've always been very fiscally prudent on the way we utilize our budget and our funds, and I think it will definitely pay off during situations like this when we do have a rainy day fund available. And yeah, these are times to call for that rainy day fund, and whether it's for adequate childcare for those essential workers, that worries me a lot. Making sure our kids have food, and it worries me that we're going to see an increase in a spike on domestic violence, and that's just the nature of the crisis we're facing. We need to have our shelters ready and also be able to have our not only essential workers but our police officers and our healthcare providers ready to handle the situation, but their families need to be taken care of, and we need to do that.
Well, Senator Luz, my friend, I love you. I
Thank you.
hope you get feeling better. Anything you need, know that I'm here, and the whole Silicon Slopes community is here for you. You're an incredible leader in this state, and I hope you get feeling better. And we get a hug soon.
Yes, a real one.
That'd be
Right.
unbelievable.
Thank you. And thank you, Silicon Slopes community, for all your support, Clint, and your leadership, from everything from medical information, to that accessing some of the medicine that is being right now tested, which is critical. And thank you for all the work you guys are doing to keep our economy moving. We love you guys. And it's always a pleasure to be part of the Silicon Slopes community as well. And Science Bank, which connects us a lot. So thank you again. It's always a pleasure to see you, Clint. Good luck with you and your family. Stay safe.
We will. Thank you, my friend. Have a good one.